last but not least, we're going to bring the ringer in. I think you all know who I'm talking about. This is our city council member, District 1, the feisty, the awesome Karlee Meyers.
They're all here because we love Henry. Speak into this thing. I'm loud, so I don't know how to stop picking me up. We're all here because we love Henry, right? Yeah. Can you see that? Yes. This year we have an opportunity to make a big change in this town. And I'm introduced up here as your incumbent running for District 1. And with that, I'm going to throw in a little disclaimer. I've been in the minority as an incumbent for the last 4 years. Yeah. And when I say that, I voted with my personal against a budget that violates our Measure You promise to the people. Your vote counts. I voted no against giving our high-priced attorney 2 raises this year to $2.1 million. Good job, Karlee. And most importantly, we were able to convince council to save $1 million at least on our workers' comp program. Because if we indeed are struggling as a city, we do not need the Cadillac plan. Is that right? Right. We can do a little bit of that, and we can be very careful about what we're doing. And we can save $2.1 million. You think about all the projects. Streets that need paving. We get many complaints on these. And as a council, we cannot be scared to get these little jobs done. We have a homeless issue. We don't need to dissolve the homeless task force. We need to talk about real issues. Regardless on your feelings, no one wants to see homeless people on our streets. So this rolls right into our economic development. In order to bring more businesses and jobs, we have to have clean streets. Yes. Because what business is going to drive through Hemet and say, I want to go there because? Now, I will tell you that it takes more than 5 people sitting up on a dais to make change in this town. You look around right now at all the people here, and I have heard from so many people in our valley that are ready for change. They're dying for change. Yes. This year will be the year that we will free Hemet. We can be free from the bondage of those who make promises and threats to kick us out of office because we want to be financially sound. I'm so sorry. We have constant pressure, and I'm not sure why, but they don't stand for honesty, integrity, open government, open the books, open the meetings. Yes. You deserve to be heard. We are here as your representative, and we are here for you. Yeah. All right.
Transparency.
Yes. That's not a real secret. It's not a secret. You'll see in the second rush. So, exactly. Before I go, I just want the people of Hemet to know that your involvement in our city is what makes community. And your representatives are here, and we are running on what we can do for Hemet. We are running on being kind. And we don't need all the extra noise. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. And last, but definitely not least, Ms. Karlee Meyers.
My name is Karlee Meyers. I am on City Council for District 1. District 1 is on the east side of Hemet, all the way a little past Lake Street, on the north side of Florida, headed west all the way to Lyon, to Palm, I'm sorry. And that is my area. We go over to Menlo, and we have a lot of residents here in town that need representation. And so I am running again for office. I am an incumbent. Mr. Percival and I have been in the council minority for the last 4 years, and we feel that now is the time for Hemet to make change. You know, we have things in our town that need to be fixed, and everybody can see what they are. We need more jobs. We need to deal with the homeless. We need to use our Measure U money for public safety. And these are obvious things that need to be addressed and not scared to be talked about. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Karlee Meyer. And again, just to refresh the audience, and Ms. Meyer, we know you were against it. And so question, Karlee, is what are your thoughts on the last budget, which again was passed by 3, not the 2 here, of the city council members, and what are your thoughts on how Measure U funds, Measure U safety funds were utilized and affected?
Everyone needs to understand that a budget is the policy that council members set. And when we pass a budget, we are putting our stamp of approval on how our city is going to be ran. With the budget that we just passed, we are the only city that I know of that passed a public safety tax that goes into our general fund, yes, but we still reduced public safety services. And with this budget, that is what was done. Station 5's fire station has been reduced to a paramedic station. It does not have fire suppression. And one of the top bullets on the Measure U plan that was sold to the public was to have an engine to have fire suppression on the east side of town. That's disappointing to our residents. I think that the residents in my district feel slighted because they pay a tax and they don't get to reap the benefits of the service, even though it was something that was promised. So you also want to talk about the public safety as far as the police department. We also unfunded positions in that department. And we cannot stand up there unanimously and say that we did not defund the police when in fact we did. This year our election is important, and getting everyone on board for how our city needs to operate this time is key. And our future in the city of Hemet is on the balances for this election.
Thank you. And again, okay, and Ms. Meyer, same question, which is, many early release prisoners were brought here to Hemet. What will you personally do to decrease our crime and homelessness issue that was further exacerbated by the early release decision?
For years, there's been rumors about the city accepting money. And just for the record, there are no funds that are income on any line to receive prisoners for Hemet. The fact is that we don't have a wall around our city, and the city does not get to decide who comes in and out of our city. The reality is that when our rents are the lowest around, then we do attract people to come here. We do have a crime and a homeless problem. I work on our streets with homeless folks. Many have my business card and my personal cell phone number. And in order to make a difference on our streets, you know, it's not like you can just get a bus and run up and down Florida and tell everybody to get in the car, because everyone has the right to make their decisions. In our city, we give $2.7 million to panhandlers. And if we could reroute this money from all the generous folks in this town, we could actually have something or a place to house homeless and to have social services. There's a place in Anaheim that does this, and they have a very high success rate. But these folks, for whatever reason, are down on their luck. They're dealing with depression. They're dealing with mental illness. And they're not just going to take a ride with you and go change their lifestyle. You have to develop a trust with these folks. And get to know them, and so that they know that you are genuinely trying to help them and you're not just trying to sweep them off their feet. They've been burned plenty of times.
And if I just may, just very quickly, you do have a program, you did start a program, am I right? And to redirect those funds instead of just directly giving to panhandlers, what's the name of that?
Our homeless outreach team has know where it goes. We want to know where your money goes.
Great, thank you. Is Ms. Karlee Meyer. And Ms. Meyer, Hemet has had a hard time attracting lucrative and big-name businesses to invest here, and an even harder time inspiring them to stay, you know. Further, many small businesses give up before they can get through the rigorous challenges the city of Hemet imposes on them in trying to open businesses here. So the question is simply, what will you do to streamline this process and to make it easier and more attractive to businesses, both large and small?
Well, first of all, our city does need to roll out some sort of one-stop shop at our permits desk, at our development desk, so that when businesses are ready to come to town, that we roll out the carpet, because we need to provide more jobs and we do need more businesses. Another item on this is the support of these businesses, right? First of all, these businesses don't want homeless people. They don't want urine and feces on their front doorsteps. And that's a big problem that we have in our town. Some of us on council have asked for public restrooms, and there are none right now for homeless. And so where does that end up when the public bathrooms are locked? It's on their doorsteps. And so attracting businesses means being clean. And so there are things that we can do as a city to protect our businesses, and we need to step up to the plate. And last but not least is the involvement of the citizens. I mean, we cannot forget the fact that these places stay in business because of us. It's because where we decide to spend our money. If we're going to drive out of town and take our business out of town, then the businesses will close up. So when we have new businesses in town, please be aware of who is opening and try to support them. I know many of us are on limited incomes, but regardless, if you choose to spend your money, spend it local. That will keep businesses in town.
Thank you. And we've got two more names. Now, the same question. What's the first thing you're going to do when you're reelected?
Oh, wow, this is an exciting question. Are you sure you really want to know? Because I've posted quite a list.
Uh-oh.
The first thing that we will address, if our council majority, if the people decide that they want their council majority to be changed, will be to reevaluate our attorney services. Our council majority gave 2 raises this year to our city attorney, and he's getting, or should I say, he received at least $2.1 million this last fiscal year. A city our size, that's outrageous. And it needs to be looked at, and there needs to be change. We've talked about it for years, but nobody votes the way that we talk. So I promise that that will be my first job if you change our council majority.
And can I ask you, Karlee Meyer, where do you think this $2-point-something million is coming from? What part of the funds? Do you think it may be coming from any of the Measure U money?
Oh, no. The $2.1 million is taken from all the other needs in our town. So if people complain that our streets aren't done, or people complain about, not having enough code enforcement officers, everything that is not Measure U is being funneled to the attorney.
Gotcha.
$2.1 million is a large amount for a $50 million budget.
All right, I'm going to start the next question off with you, Karlee Meyer. Next question is about the Measure U budget and everything. Do you feel that the Measure U should be going towards only the public safety and not for street paving and street repairing?
The Measure U money was passed and is a general tax. The council promised the citizens that the Measure U money would be used for public safety. What never has been done, the council has never been given the task to make or approve any Measure U plan. That needs to be done. I think that words need to be defined, because what is public safety to you? And what is public safety to someone else? There are many things in our city, many items that need to be addressed that are public safety items. So the council needs to address that.
Okay.
And if I just may, just very quickly, since we have the two incumbents and the two that voted against it, which I think was wonderful, I would just ask, do you, and I'm going to ask Mike Percival the same thing, but I would just ask, do you think that the problem with Measure U is Measure U, that it should never have been implemented, or do you think it's more to the point that the way the monies are utilized?
I think it's all about accountability. It's all about accountability. If we vote, if the citizens vote, I mean, of our city, over 61% of the citizens voted for Measure U. So that's an affirmative vote from 61% of the people with what we promised. And so those citizens, their votes need to be honored.
And I'm just going to take this and run quickly. No, I'm not going to run.
So you want me to answer that same question?
Yes, sir, please.
Maybe if
After you pick up your...
the battery didn't fall out. No, I believe I still have another microphone.
Do we have Mike Audio in there? Okay.
So yeah, there's accountability as part of that, and there needs to be a broad discussion from council, because council sets policy. And there needs to be that discussion and the plan, and going to the plan about public safety. Do I think Measure U money should be spent on repaving roads? No. There's other funds available for that, and those funds are utilized for that. But public safety there's a broad spectrum of what public safety is, and it does have a specific, so we need to have some definitions on what that public safety is. Public safety is again, it's a broad spectrum. It's keeping the public safe, not just against the criminal element, but there's other aspects there's traffic safety. That's part of public safety. There's pedestrian safety. It's all part of public safety. So we need to look at that, and the resolution that the council signed on to talks about where that money is acceptably spent. And so I think that council really needs to sit down and have a discussion from a policy level on utilizing that funds. And that's why I made that very clear to the city manager prior to the passage of the previous budget.
Excellent. Thank you. Karlee Meyer.
Again, I'm Karlee Meyer. I am on City Council for District 1, running again for re-election for November 2020. Tonight, we've talked about a lot of issues our city has, and to overcome and to tackle these issues, it takes more than 5 people. It takes every single one of you. And so when I say community involvement, that's why I host coffees. I've hosted a coffee for 4 years so that you have more than 3 minutes at a council meeting to speak. And we are here because we want to make ourselves available to you and to have open government and transparency. So everybody needs to do their homework, get involved, and everyone can help make Hemet a better place.
Excellent, thank you. And since I like free donuts, like you can't tell. So, it's Thursdays? It's Coffee with Karlee? You're at Thursdays? I'm so sorry?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. You can find it. Just ask around.
It's on events.
It's on events. So, again, I would like to close by saying, when it comes time to vote, realize that every one of the candidates was asked to be here. These 6 candidates and the 2 that were here earlier, Howard Feigenbaum and Gladys Sue Savage, and Michael Percival, Kenneth Prado, Malcolm Lilienthal, Joe Males, V, and Karlee Meyer have stayed. They've been here now for about 3, maybe 3.25 hours. So just remember that we're not here to tell anyone who to vote for, but remember who cared enough to
show up
while the technical difficulties and the issues were worked out, and who sat here and gave you their honest answers. Lastly, again, I would say for Stacey Olson, who went beyond and above to make this as open and as honest and forthright a process as it could be. And for my buddy Eddie John's trying to get with Ian Media?
IanMediaProductions.com.
And my brother Eddie George for Hemini News, and for Stacey Olson and Ann Smith and myself, Mark Hunstein. Boys Burgers, thank you, and we thank you. Hi, Lori. Hi, I gotta say hi to Lori King, and I gotta say hi to my little Bella, and hi, Brian.
And don't forget, you forgot the most important guy.
Oh, really?
So, I want to say shout out to Adam McQueen. Adam McQueen came in to help us do the sound tonight. He took a lot of burden off of me trying to run the live streams. Thanks to John coming out here. We got to fix this camera because I think I'm looking through with my lazy eye. It's so blurry. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. Right, but Adam McQueen, I want to appreciate you coming out and helping us run the sound system and hooking up. And John, thank you for running the camera. And I want to say shout out to all the candidates for coming out tonight, giving us your time to actually be introduced to our community and give your side of what you guys want to do for our community. And we will be doing meet the candidates for the San Jacinto Council. We are working with Mayor Kutyk on that to get that set up. So we'll be doing the same thing here on that. Now, I do want to ask each and every one of you, if you will, I know majority of you do follow himandInews.com. There is a lot of questions that I did not ask due to our time limit, but I do encourage you guys, if you will, please follow the live stream that is pinned to the top of our page on Him and News, and please go through and answer the remaining questions that we didn't ask tonight. So that's all I got to say. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. This is Eddie George, Him and I News.
Thank you, guys. Excellent.
Thank you.